I hope the African-American community and some of these communities are paying attention, because Joe Biden does not want to give you the choice for what fits best for your kids. And for most of us who have kids, all you want for your kids is what's best for them.
Yeah.
When it comes to anything, you want them to have a better life than you had. You want to try to do best as you can for them, and you want to give them the best opportunities that you can. And for a lot of us, that could be the public school system, again. And it's so funny. They try to paint Biden as this moderate, middle of the road, middle class Joe. He's not. He wants to get rid of your ability to buy single family zone housing through AFFH. He lies about it and tells you he doesn't. It's in the manifesto. We know what the Obama policy was. Dr. Carson and the president had to get rid of it. We've reported on Stanley Kurtz in National Review's article about AFFH. He does not want to have single-family zoning. He does not want to have, as you'll hear in this clip tonight, school choice. So how is he for these communities? How is he for them?
Well, because he likes to suppress them and own their vote. He wants to just give them enough crumbs and scraps to keep them hanging around and desperately needing them. That's why he cares.
I mean, but none of the policies are to their benefit. None of them. None of them.
But the sad part is they don't realize it. They keep going back to that same trough, thinking, "Oh, it's going to be steak this time. I know it." Yeah, and then they get back there, and it's the same slop they've been getting for years, and never changes. But nobody ever goes to the. And I think and I think this is where the GOP and the Republicans fail to walk in there and say, "Hey, you know what? Let me show you what else there is on the menu here that you guys aren't being told about." And I think that's the failure of the other side of the aisle.
I always think of the movie Braveheart, where they're all squabbling as you guys squabble for scraps from Longshank's table. We want what's real, and that's freedom. And, that's the thing. These people don't realize that they've been lied to so relentlessly. And you said it before, Rick. You said not a lot of people have the time to do these deep dives. And people who are, impoverished or lower middle class and even poor, they're fighting to survive. Yeah. There's no time for them to be doing deep dives and digs and understand. All they get is the sound bites and the cultural misnomers that just keep on pervading every nook and cranny of their lives. So they're indoctrinated, and they're just trained to vote one way.
Yeah,
that's why the walk-away movement's so impressive to me.
And another part of that equation is the million-dollar athletes and the celebrities who all keep telling them, no, this is exactly what you want to do, because everybody wants to be in that clique. Everybody wants to be hanging with the cool kids. You know what I mean? So they get sucked in.
Instead of waiting, since we're on this, let's just play it, G. Cut 37. This is Biden talking about school choice. Roll it.
So I have one more question.
Sure.
There are lots of people who think there are other ways to solve all of these problems, and NEA members have pushed back against what we think are very misguided school reforms.
Now, hold a second.
Charter.
Now, what does she mean misguided? How can you, having the freedom to choose what's best for you and your family, be misguided? How can that be misguided?
Because they don't agree with it, Damon.
For you to have the audacity to think, well, let me try to do what's best for my kid. We want what's best for them. Maybe that situation is not what's best for them. To her, that's misguided. Go ahead.
Schools. Regularly now we've seen families and communities who will join us in fighting to save that neighborhood public school. You know how we feel about charter school.
What? Who has to save it? Who's saving them? I mean, these are government-run entities paid by the taxpayers.
Yeah.
So what is she? Who has to save the school? Who's saving it? Saving it from what? Maybe yourself. Saving it from itself. And the indoctrination it's doing with the now the 1619 project. But who has to save it? What does she mean by that?
Yeah, and look at the way she's phrasing the question. She's just piling up all this stuff to say, okay, you know what? I'm already front-loading you with this stuff so you can just agree with it. Because everything she says, they want to save it, right? She keeps leading it down. It's like an attorney trying to lead the witness.
Yeah,
Well-
or a car salesman.
Wait to hear his response. Go ahead, G.
We'd like to know how
Same way
you
I
feel about charter schools.
There will be no federal dollars. I'm not Betsy DeVos, nor will my Secretary of Education be anything like her in terms of her attitudes about public schools. No privately funded charter school would receive, or private charter school receive a penny of federal money. None.
Okay. So there you go. So all of you living in, as Paul described, some of these places where the public schools are a disaster, you have no choice, according to Joe Biden. None. It doesn't matter if you have the ability to, the resources available. It doesn't matter. You have no choice. He will get rid of all these places if he can, so that you have no choice but to go to the government-run school closest to where you live. So, I mean, that's a stunning statement to me. I mean, it'll get no attention. Of course, he'll never be asked about it. This will be played really nowhere, maybe a couple places.
Yeah, and meanwhile, him and his friends and his brother's kids and their friends and his cousins' kids, they all get to go to the nice choice school of their choice, wherever it may be, no matter how far away or how much it costs in the country, they're going to be there. Same thing with the Hollywood crowd and the millionaire billionaire crowd. They all get to choose, but not you. No.
Yeah.
You stay right there. We need you right there because we're not going to give you that opportunity. It's like it's almost like what changes between 12th grade and your freshman year of college? What changed? You're still going to get to an education, right? When people sign up for school, what happens after you graduate high school? You make a choice. You choose which college you want to go to. If you can afford something better and nicer, you go for it, right? If you can get in, you can go for it. If not, then maybe you stay home and you work a little bit on the side and you save money and, you keep your grades up. You do a local, community college or something like that so you can go and make a choice to go where you want to go. Well, how does that change from a teenager who's 15 to a teenager who's 18? Explain. Joe, it's on you, Joe. Explain.